All right. See our guests here piling into the room. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon. You are in the right place. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to the Technology Source Virtual Roundtable. We will get started in just a few minutes. While you're waiting, I will just wish everybody a good day. Let me know where you are dialing in from today. Hello to Cal. Hi, John. Hi, Will. Hi, Takuya. Good morning to Jason. Hi, John and Whittier. Good to have you. Awesome. Good morning, Jeff. Good to have you. Thanks for joining us, or good afternoon. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hello in San Francisco. Good morning. Give everybody just a few more seconds and then we'll get started. All right. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm getting lots of birthday messages, which is lovely, but a little distracting. So, all right, let's get started. So my name is Sonia Moline. I am with Technology Source. We are a sourcing as a service company with over 500 different providers located. We actually have two headquarters, one on the east and one in Southern California. So we are been in business for over 20 years, serving clients from all over the United States and in 12 countries outside of the United States. And today we have a service provider with us who is going to be talking about some unique stuff, which is exciting. This is their second time presenting. So if you've heard their information on the first roundtable that we did with them, we were focused mostly on healthcare and that in that industry. And today we're going to focus on generating revenue from your Wi-Fi, as well as other topics as it pertains to Wi-Fi analytics and Wi-Fi engagement. With us today, all the way from beautiful Pennsylvania, we have Ryan Blair. How are you this fine afternoon, Ryan?
Doing very well. Thank you, Sonia.
Great. We also have Mr. Sean Nace. How are you, Sean?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you here today. And I did have a chance to look at your presentation and I was really excited because it had a lot of new information. And on the presentation, it sounds like we're going to be learning about what's happening in the market, and we're going to be talking about what Wi-Fi analytics is. We're going to have a introduction to the solution, how it works, and a little bit about the customer journey. And then we're going to talk about, which is my favorite part, use cases. I love hearing kind of the before and after of where a customer had a problem, and technology came in and helped them. And so then the customer was able to achieve their goals. And so we'll talk about that and then and kind of just see what that brings up. This is a round table, so we do want to hear your questions. I know there's a lot of you who couldn't make it today for whatever reason and have asked for the recording of this, so we will record this and send that out. Of course, if you are listening to the recording, you won't be eligible for the fun giveaway, which is an Ember mug, which I have not ever used, but I've heard they're really cool. Can one of you describe this mug so that people are a little more excited?
Sure, yeah, so it's kind of like a smart mug in certain aspects. So it can actually heat your coffee up to your ideal temperature, or when the coffee comes out too hot, it actually can cool it down and hold it at that current temperature. So it is actually, it's a smart mug to give you your coffee at the ideal temperature.
I'm one of those people that like pours 3 cups of coffee and only drinks like a quarter of every one of them because it always gets cold, and then I'm like, oh, so that sounds like
a second one in there for you.
Well, hey, it's my birthday, so if you wanted to send one of those over,
we're on to something.
All right. Well, thanks for offering that up. So if anyone has a good question for Ryan or Sean, and we do use that question, you will be entered into a drawing. And that'll be at the very end. And that's about all of my introduction. I really want to use this time to dig in. But just as a reminder, we do want you to ask good questions. This is a roundtable. This is a live event for a reason. So, all right, let's take it away, Ryan and Sean.
Awesome. So I think, Sonia, you might need to make Sean a presenter, and we will get this kicked right off.
It's not letting you present.
Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. Do you want to try to, oh, something's happening. Perfect, yay. Okay, and if you want to just swap that, there you go. Crystal clear, awesome, thanks, Sean.
Beautiful. Yep, sorry about that. You want to kick us off, Ryan, and then I'll get into the technical stuff afterwards, but.
Sure. Yeah. So in short, this software, it's a piece of software that layers over top of a Wi-Fi access point. And what it does, it allows you as a business owner or somebody who runs a business, it allows you to leverage the technology and the information you're gaining about the folks who connect to your network to make strategic business decisions as it relates to marketing, strategic marketing, better understanding your customers, and really creating an engaging environment for those folks coming into your physical space. So allowing them to, push certain promotional items, cross-promoting certain events, and really just better understanding who your customers are. So taking this information that you get from the wireless access points and the software and leveraging it to make strategic business decisions.
Thanks, Ryan. So, the industry right now, I'm sure you guys come from many different businesses, many different verticals. I'm not sure if you're in the restaurant space or retail, large venues. Everybody was really affected in the past couple of years by COVID and everything that's going on in the world. Now we're even possibly on the verge of a recession. It's changing people's buying habits, right? So you can see some of the data right here. 63% of customers agree it's more convenient to get food delivery than dining out. So obviously that has a huge impact on restaurants that were already severely damaged or hurt during COVID when they had to shut the doors for 9 months. And then when they were able to open back up, they were at half capacity. So the ones who are strong enough to survive, or you've basically found new ways to market yourself. You've created dine out or takeout specials or ways to create that brand loyalty. But there's still that that sentiment out there that more than half the people, more than half the families would rather get food out or get food delivered to them, or perhaps cook at home. You can see, well, there's another one. 50% of people that started cooking at home every single night still plan on doing that right now. So again, some of the trends are kind of negative for our industries. Here's one for large venues. So I'm going to show you a case study on large venues, looking at the Indiana Pacers and the Miami Heat. But it could be a baseball team. It could be any insert your business there. More than half the people would prefer to watch games on TV rather than go out to the ball game, go out to the football game, basketball game, whatever the case might be, rodeo. People just prefer staying at home now. And so this is really impacting our business. We're still using technology for our business, like Wi-Fi and internet and phones and so forth. But what this solution is really about is turning what is a OpEx, or sometimes the combination of an operational expense and a capital expense that you use to procure that technology, and turn it into a new revenue stream, right? And how do we do that? So Ryan alluded to the fact that it's just software. So in my little graphic there on the left, I'm trying to illustrate here, it has a software as a service that lives over top of your existing access points. So to me, it doesn't matter what you have in place. Telesystem does a great job with providing managed Wi-Fi solutions. We do this really extensive heat mapping software where we're literally going to ideally place all your access points to optimize the coverage for your building, whether it's 30-foot ceilings, brick walls, you name it. We're going to optimize the RF coverage for that building. But more than half the time, our customers already have Wi-Fi technology. So it doesn't matter if you have Aruba, Ruckus, Meraki, Mist, you name it, insert that technology name, and we're going to be able to layer this service on top of it. So it's a software layered on top of your access points. It's priced per access point per month, right? That license model extends to almost everything now. But what it does is it allows you to learn about your customers' habits. So when you're signing into a Wi-Fi, we're no longer just going to have that placard or a printout saying, here's the SSID, the Ryan Blair guest network, and here's the password. No, we're going to obviously push out that SSID, but now we're going to create our Telesystem, and my team is going to create really nice, beautiful splash pages, HTML splash pages, whereby customers can sign in using a form fill, like providing their email address, where I can create single sign-on options using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. That way, when they do sign in, I'm learning about those customers. I know Ryan Blair is a 25 to 30-year-old male. I know Sonia is a 25 to 30-year-old female, and when they sign in, I'm knowing about their demographics, right? I know that I can market differently to certain segments of the population, right? Male versus female, we all have different buying habits. We're very different, right? But so are people of certain age brackets, right? So you can really understand your customers' buying habits based on that social information. And even if they don't sign in with social, I'm now finding a way to engage with them by capturing their email address, maybe capturing their cell phone numbers, and I can engage them by text message, email, you name it. There's just new ways to learn about your business and turn what was an operational expense into a new revenue stream. So that's the whole idea. You can see some of the verticals, and I hope this applies to some of you guys out there. There's really not too many different businesses that this wouldn't be beneficial to. I'm going to focus today on a few different verticals. I have some case studies surrounding stadiums and retail and healthcare, but again, insert your business name right there. And then, by the way, if you guys don't align with one of these verticals, send a message in the chat to Sonia, and she or Ryan can alert me to what you're doing in your business. But you can see some of the splash pages that we've created for our customers there. That, I mean, look how nice this looks. Instead of just having a random placard up there, like here's the Ryan Blair Guest Network with the sign in. Here's the kind of splash pages that we can create for you. And we can create many of these splash pages depending on the language of the device. So if you're a Spanish speaker versus an English speaker, maybe you have different splash pages for the time of the year or the venue in question, right? So there's all different ways that we can customize the solution for your business. And by the way, even within these verticals, obviously not every retail establishment is the same. Michael Kors is way different than a Walmart, and so on, right? A stadium or a franchise like an NBA franchise like the Miami Heat or Indiana Pacers are way different than the Philadelphia Phillies or the Dodgers, right? So they have different different goals in mind, different KPIs that we're trying to achieve. So every single solution that we provide, so long as it's more than $1,000 a year in billing, comes along with a customer success plan where we're literally tailoring the solution to your business. Obviously creating these splash pages, creating all the forms of engagement that I'm going to get into that's tailored to your clothing retailer, your bookstore, your coffee shop, your whatever franchise that you have or business that you have. It's not just the same within these vertical spaces. So I wanted you guys to understand that.
Sure. We actually had a question
Sure.
in the chat box. It's what do you do? How do you go about meeting compliance regulations such as GDPR?
Yeah. So all the information that's stored for these customers. Well, first of all, I'll show you in a little bit here about the splash pages, but there's an end user license agreement that the customers are agreeing to that most of us just ignore. I mean, I don't know. When you sign into Wi-Fi in certain areas that you just have to, right? And that's a little bit of, I don't want to say the challenge of this, but that's part of the solution too, is creating the impetus for customers to sign on to Wi-Fi anyway, because that's a question that a lot of customers have. So that you have to create marketing, the signage around that, or perhaps it's just the location or something like a large venue where the cell coverage is just so poor, so people are going to sign in. But as you sign into Wi-Fi, you're signing in terms and conditions that stipulate what they can do with that data, which the customer, the business owner, own that data, and it's stored in a cloud that meets all the compliance needs that you might have, whether it's HIPAA, PCI. Actually, we're not going to be storing credit card information, but it is GDPR compliant, HIPAA compliant, you name it. It is meeting all those needs to pass your compliance test that you might, or compliance audits that you might have. So thanks for the question, guys. Keep them coming. But here's like your typical scenario, right? So say if you go into a grocery store, let's say, you arrive to the grocery store and, maybe you have a laundry list or a grocery list in mind of what you're going to purchase, and you go up and down the aisles, make that purchase. Maybe it's a grocery store like a Whole Foods, or maybe you take a seat and have an adult beverage or a coffee along the way. use the facilities, and then you go home, right? You don't learn anything else about the customer at all, other than maybe what you've gotten from your point of sale system, that you know that Ryan Blair purchased $150 worth of groceries and here's the SKUs that he bought, right? You didn't learn how much time that is in the store. You didn't learn anything else about that consumer. You might not even know that it's Ryan Blair, depending if you didn't use a rewards program or not, right? So all you're doing is learning about the time of day that a purchase was made and the items that were purchased, versus, you know, the engaged journey that we like to call it, where, you know, when you're entering the store, you're capturing that information. So again, I'm creating these single sign-on options for the customer, that I'm capturing that social information if you're selling with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Otherwise, I can get your email address. You're educating your customers. So after you connect, I have the way to customize the content that customers are going to see before you go online. So I can send them like a quick little video, or a video, and then put them on, dump them to a certain part of my website that might be marketing the latest products that I have. Or, you know, it might just be educating customers. So, you know, obviously, you know, COVID is still fresh on everybody's minds. And, you know, we sold this to a trampoline park the other day. So I'm not sure if any of you have kids and you're young kids and you've taken them to these crazy, beautiful or cool trampoline parks where you can, you know, have a warehouse, you know, 10,000 square feet or 50,000 square feet with trampolines all over the place, and, you know, zip lines, you name it, right? So after the guests connect there, we can educate those guests about how they're cleaning those facilities to, you know, to protect against COVID. Maybe you can educate them or redirect them to the website to let them know about the birthday parties that you can have at that store, because creating new revenue streams is obviously a goal here. You can let them know about yearly or monthly memberships, you know, or a stadium. You can let them know about a multi-game package, or, you know, if you're the LA Lakers, you can let them know, hey, you know, here's when, you know, Joel Embiid is coming to, you know, take on the Lakers and destroy them. You know, I don't know. You get the idea there. You get, yeah, it's all about creating this new way to engage with your customers that you would have never otherwise done. You can create loyalty programs, reward customers. You know, here's a buy one, get one offer. You can survey them afterwards to see how, you know, was my facility clean? How was your experience? What can I do better? You can have a 1 through 5 scale, a smiley face scale, you know, a frown for bad, a smiley face for good, or, you know, the flat face from between. You have all different ways to survey customers and elicit more information. And we can even, you know, insert those survey results. Like, so say if you're a hotel chain, we have one case study, I'm not sure if I'm going to show that one today, but where the customer wanted to increase their TripAdvisor exposure, right? So some of your businesses out there, I don't know if any of you guys are restaurant owners, but, you know, Yelp, TripAdvisor, you know, things like that, you know, Google reviews, that's a big thing. You guys want to make sure that you're getting a lot of exposure out there and you're getting good ratings. So you can publish those right to the web or right to TripAdvisor with the APIs that we have in place. And by the way, we have connectors with so many different CRMs out there, from HubSpot to Salesforce to, you know, MailChimp and so forth, all different ways to engage with your customers. But again, that's just a whole new way of looking at your Wi-Fi journey right here. So here's an example of that journey, maybe, or the succession of what a customer might see for the hotel brand. And so again, when you're connecting there on the left, we're not just going to say, you know, just hop onto Wi-Fi and sign in for free. No, we're going to have you provide some information. So you can see on the left, I can you know, connect to our free Wi-Fi, and you're going to have your hotel brand right here, your whatever you want to show the customer. That can vary by venue, by region of the country, by language of the OS of that device, right? We're going to capture their email address, or you can have them sign in with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it. After they've connected, we can educate them. Here's our cleaning standards. You know, maybe we can let them know about a loyalty program. You know, hotel brands, what do they want to do? They want you to, you know, rebook with them directly, as opposed to going through booking.com or hotels.com or Expedia. I mean, I use those sites too, but, you know, hotels lose 30% of the revenue to those third-party booking sites. So again, you can create that reward program, you know, stay one night, stay for 3 nights, get 1 free, something like that, right? Surveying customers about how we're doing. And sorry, I have the video screen up right here, but hopefully you can see this. So just different ways they can survey customers. Just make it 2 or 3 questions and then get those results and just save them yourself share that among yourselves from a marketing team, a business ownership team, where maybe in the case of some hotel brands, you can publish those results transparently right to TripAdvisor, right? Healthcare is a very unique application. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but these are large 6-figure and 7-figure deals that they have out there. So it's kind of like using the combination of wireless access points and Bluetooth sensors to not only engage with customers, but to create almost like a Waze-like experience, but within a building. And the reason that we're doing that is to improve patient satisfaction and offset missed appointments. There's a couple different reasons out there, but healthcare organizations are really, let's just go to the next slide here. Healthcare organizations are unfortunately burdened by some really negative trends in the industry. You can see on the top left there, the amount of lost revenue from missed appointments, which now has grown to the tune of $150 billion annually. It is the lost revenue from missed appointments across the country. So that averages out to about $200 per missed appointment for a regular, doctor's visit, a clinician. But your MRI scan or your X-rays, they can be $500 or $1,500 or more, right? So you get the idea there. Using the combination of these outreach programs and this Waze-like experience. So we're gonna again use survey your location, go out there and walk the site to identify points like the cafeteria, the main lobby, and all this stuff. And we're gonna really map out your building. And then using the Bluetooth sensors and the wireless access points, I'm gonna know where you are within 2 to 3 feet. I'm gonna embed this application or this solution within the customer's own healthcare app. So almost everybody out there is using something called MyChart, which is something that we can embed ourselves within, or we can actually create a white label product that we can put on the Google or Android or Apple marketplaces, so that it's going to be specific to your hospital and customized for that particular brand. But what it does, again, so as you've entered that venue, imagine you're in a large campus environment, right? And it can be daunting to navigate yourself from the west end of a campus, from the parking garage, to the east end of the building to see Dr. Smith in suite 202 to get to your dermatologist appointment. So this will help you navigate through those corridors, even from your parking spot. By the way, you can actually mark where you parked. So if you're in a really big parking spot and you forget that you're on the 3rd floor and spot 202 or something like that, you can mark that. But then it helps you navigate left, right, down this bank of elevators, across this corridor, across the sky bridge to that doctor's office to help you get there on time. And also things that help you get there on time are using like the text notifications and email notifications that all come from MyChart. But using the combination of this, Waze-like experience within the building does a couple things. It offsets those missed appointments, but also increases patient satisfaction. It decreases patients' anxiety, which all have a benefit, a positive correlation on a higher HCAP score for patients, which is kind of like the net promoter score of the healthcare world. So sometimes funding for healthcare systems are tied to this thing, are tied to this HCAP score. So again, it's not just like there's no silver bullet when it comes to healthcare, but this is a major improvement for healthcare organizations, and every large healthcare organization out there is adopting this in some way, shape, or form. So again, we're embedding the customer's electronic medical record system, their healthcare apps, using existing Wi-Fi technology and augmenting that with Bluetooth sensors to create this crazy Waze-like experience within the buildings. So that's healthcare in a nutshell. By the way, with any of these guys, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, we just had a quick question from Matthew W, as in whiskey. Matthew asks, it's easy to get lost in a hospital while looking for a loved one that's been admitted. Is this a benefit to, say, also someone who's not a patient that 100%. Could go in and... Yeah,
this could tie to the patients when they have confirmed their appointments, say through MyChart, for example. That's obviously something the patient's going to have. But yeah, a loved one, you have to create the signage around the hospital systems, and they already have invested hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in their healthcare app. So you can have signage, at the front, instead of just having that random Rolodex on a wall that, Dr. Smith, the dermatologist, is in suite 202, and it doesn't really give you anything else except for maybe a picture of a map. I can have an interactive kiosk. I can also, which will help me, create this Waze-like experience within that kiosk. But I can also encourage those guests, our loved ones, like the sons and daughters of the patient, to download this app and use it as well. So yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Sorry, another thing I'd like to add as well, it's not just for patients. I think it's also extremely beneficial for staff as well. Traveling nursing is more popular now than ever before because of this pandemic environment that we're living in. So nurses from the East Coast traveling to hospitals on the West Coast, and maybe it's their first few days there in a larger hospital, it'd be difficult to navigate. So even using this, for the staff that is on site, it would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, health med students, same thing when they first come to the, they're already struggling with limited to no sleep, working crazy hours and stuff like that. They come to a new building, they're like, I don't know how to get to the X-ray department. I don't know how to get to this. So that, they're using it too. I was talking to a healthcare system here in the Philadelphia region or in South Jersey, and it was an IT person. He works from home 90% of the time, but when he has to go into one of the buildings, patients are asking him how you get to the place because they see that he's wearing a Jefferson badge or a Virtua badge, and it's like, he doesn't know how to get there either. So sometimes patients are even more frustrated. They talk to an employee and he still doesn't even know how to get there. So these apps can be used by anybody. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said that's so true. I mean, I've navigated so many VA hospitals all around the world, and they're always crazy. I would love to see this applied to the VA world. I guess we have a couple more questions. One of them is on price, and that can be something we discuss individually with this particular customer if you'd like, but is there a general statement that we could give on pricing? I don't know if this is the time for that.
But sure, why not?
Okay. I think it definitely varies. The more access points, the cheaper you can make it. So it's blanket statement's kind of hard to do, but I'd love to entertain that conversation offline. But Perfect. We do have another question, Sean. What are the best practices to enhance Wi-Fi security, especially in the healthcare environment?
To enhance Wi-Fi security. Okay, so no matter what, separate the VLAN, separate the IP networks for your for that Wi-Fi. So make sure that it's on its own VLAN 3 as opposed to VLAN 2. It's on a 10.151 network as opposed to 10.150. Segregate those networks as much as possible, both logically and or physically. Some people are using separate switches, separate wiring, even separate devices. That's going to an extreme. I mean, I worked with some regulated industries, even casinos, where they actually had to provide separate APs for the guests versus the employee network. But separate logical connections, separate networks for sure. Using a cloud or secure controller where you can control the content of those users. The users even browsing rights and so forth. But they really have to be behind a next-gen firewall. All this has to be behind a next-gen firewall. And security is a multifaceted approach. There's no silver bullet for security. You need next-gen firewalls. You need intrusion prevention. You need DNS protection. You need web content filtering. You need zero trust network access. There's so many things when it comes to security that has to be its own conversation. So I'd be happy to engage with that. But a long story short, separate networks.
Sean, VLANs, just for clarity too on everything you just said, is that something that Telesystem can partner with our customers on as well? Or
okay. Absolutely. We have a pretty nice security practice, cybersecurity practice. That is, we offer a host of solutions from secure SD-Wan products to purpose-built next-gen firewalls, including Fortinet, Cisco Meraki. We have built-in DDoS protection in our network. We have endpoint protection, for servers and PCs out there. We're actually building out a SOC, a security operations center, that we're going to have up and running before year's end, so we can take things to another level, including offering, EDR and XDR for customers. It's never been more relevant. So yeah, let's take that conversation offline.
And then John Bogdanov had one additional question. Is the Waze experience or wayfinding just limited to healthcare? Yes.
Yeah,
As of right now, John, it is limited to healthcare only.
Yeah. What we're going to be doing in the next quarter or so here is offering a similar type of experience using a different license than the engagement, but using some of these technologies, right? Using the geolocation, the spatial awareness of the solution, right? So I can use the combination of Bluetooth sensors and wireless access points to triangulate something, whether that's a person or maybe an asset, right? So asset tracking is a huge thing for healthcare organizations, right? Using the old RFID scanners really is ineffective. So everybody's going to IoT type devices now. And this is going to extend to asset tracking in the near future. So instead of helping people navigate, it'll actually track assets within a building. That's going to be very relevant to healthcare, because I've talked to some health organizations, and think about, you have an IV machine or a diagnostic piece of equipment that you go to visit, Brian Blair's room, and they do a scan, and then they put that card away in a closet, and it gets lost for 6 months on 6 months because somebody forgot to scan where it was last. And then maybe when they do find it, then it has to be reflashed or recoded to make sure it's up to its latest software firmware patches and stuff like that. So asset tracking is a huge thing. Not to mention things get stolen in healthcare organizations and other businesses, right? I heard hospital beds are actually a huge item that are absconded to the tune of $25,000 to $30,000 per bed. They're on wheels, right? They can be walked out the door. So you can create, you can use this solution, the combination of this solution and cameras like Meraki cameras or one other, to create an alert system based on when you see an asset leave a geofenced area, that we can alert staff and get the footage of that device as it moves throughout the building, or at least be able to know where it is. So that's probably the next evolution of this product, is asset tracking, which could be very, very relevant to healthcare, but also other businesses that you guys might own out there. So just think about what you guys want to track within your business. I'm sure there are some very expensive items, pieces of inventory, whatever the case might be, things that are protected, whether they're chemicals that have to be tracked, you name it. Everybody has different use cases.
And then we had a question that came in about the, you mentioned like a terminal where people could see that would kind of work in coordination with the applications. Is that something that the customer would have to supply, or would you be able to help them with that as well?
Yeah, so we can provide those terminals, those kiosks, as part of that solution. So almost everything that we're doing with this it's software. Almost everything is software as a service, right? But this particular vertical, the healthcare solution, it's very very consultative, and it's a lot more design. There's a lot of labor that goes into the design of this.
Right.
Using
very customized.
Very customized. So you almost always have to install Bluetooth beacons, which are really inexpensive sensors with built-in batteries as part of the solution. But yeah, we can provide that hardware, the Bluetooth sensors, and the kiosks as part of that solution. So yeah, we can expect the facilities person and the IT person for a hospital system to know where to procure and deliver that sort of service. No, we can do that as part of this. Yep. Good question, guys. Keep them coming. Here, let's look at a stadium example. So I know these are probably fewer and far between for our customers out there. Maybe one of you guys are the owners of the LA Dodgers or a minor league baseball club, but we actually have a lot of success so far with large stadiums, and I'll talk about some others that maybe are more relevant to you guys. But what we're trying to do in large stadiums, you saw that one graphic early on talking about how 59% of fans would rather just watch the game online rather than go out to the ballpark or the stadium to watch your hockey game or basketball game or football, whatever it is. But this could extend to casinos. It could extend to we have a use case for a large venue in West Texas where they do like minor league hockey, rodeos, oil and gas shows, arts and crafts shows, and so forth, right? So the stadium example is this, right? They want to really increase revenue to have fans buy more tickets, buy apparel, come back to that venue. They want to drive ticket sales for future events and other events that might be coming to that stadium. So if you have a large venue, you're probably having concerts come there or other events that you can, engage customers about. So again, each venue can be unique, but there's some things that people are trying to do, which is really just increase ticket sales. So here is the case of the Miami Heat, where you can see some cool things that we did. So again, you can see this nice splash page here on the right hand side, where they've already branded this with a FTX arena, where it could be American Airlines arena. You can actually sell that opportunity to FTX or to American Airlines or to Brian Blair Corp to kind of offset or defray a lot of the cost of this solution. Healthcare organizations are doing that all the time too. They're getting sponsored by Pfizer, by Moderna, by other Purell, whatever the case might be. So you can actually have somebody like FTX Arena help pay for the signage on this application to create more exposure for them. But you can see you sign in there with Facebook or email. After you've connected, I can let the fans know about, hey, here's the Heat happy hour after the game. Another example might be I can have all this signage, all this content that you're seeing on the right hand side after you sign in. I can actually have that customized based on the age of my guest. So I'm not gonna show a 12-year-old kid something about a Heat happy hour, right? Or I hope not. But I can maybe tell them about the apparel store we can get 10% off. I can even have that customized based on the weather outside. So I can link with the National Weather Service and say if the Philadelphia Phillies, who we have as a customer, not for this product yet, but we have them for voice data and SUM. And they were intrigued because after you sign in, so we had a weird May here in Philadelphia, and it could be usually it's in the 70s or something like that, but we had some nights in the 30s, and then it went up to almost 100 degrees at the end of last month. But like opening day, which is a huge event for any Major League Baseball team, it's hit or miss, and it could be snowing in Philadelphia those days. So imagine based on the weather outside, you have a guest connect, and then all of a sudden you can have them, it's raining. So I can show them a coupon or a signage about, hey, come to our apparel store, get an umbrella or a poncho, or it's cold outside, hey, come get a fleece or a blanket, all different things like that. So you can really customize what a customer sees, not just based on their age or the venue that they're at, but also things like the weather. So it's so cool. Again, the case of the Miami Heat, what they're trying to do is really increase fan attendance. So they're seeing that there is a decrease in attendance. There was low engagement with fans, both during the event and after the event. They had no idea who their fans were unless they were, because a lot of times people are using third-party apps, StubHub, Vivid Seats. There's so many out there right now, SeatGeeks, right? To buy tickets. So they weren't really learning about those fans. So they had no way to monetize that network and that solution. They had to provide Wi-Fi to their guests because, again, the Verizons, the AT&Ts, the world, like their cell phone capacity, their towers were just so almost destroyed by everybody. 50,000 fans coming to a stadium. Even if you have 5G out there, your throughput's going to be negligible. So everybody's signing into the Wi-Fi, right? So they wanted to really capture all this data about their fans. So after you've signed in with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, whatever, I'm capturing all the information in my Salesforce in their case, right? Or it could be HubSpot or whatever CRM you guys are using there. Again, this is kind of technology agnostic. We have APIs that can work with just about anything you guys might have. And what they're trying to do is increase ticket sales. So after they've captured that information, they can provide a personalized fan experience. They can customize, instead of seeing them, Heat happy hour message over here or an email, just that's the same for all customers. I can send something that's specific to fans that are male versus female, fans that are 18 to 24 versus 60 to 70, right? I can create new revenue streams by offering sponsorship as they did here at the FTX Arena. I can also sponsor things. So timing wise, third quarter comes around, I can have something that's pushed out to the guest, a text message, hey, line up your Uber ride, something like that. Or I can have have the food service stalls like, notify you of a discount on, so hot dogs are 25% off. Think about all that food's going to go bad anyway at the end of the day. I mean, God knows what they do with it. But you can certainly offer a discount on food at the end of those days. The main thing is they're trying to drive revenue by increasing ticket sales. So they found that they had about a 25% conversion of guests signing on to Wi-Fi during those games, which is about 28,000 fans per month. So just do the math on, if you have 50% or 55,000, person capacity, in a large venue, put your size business in that mix and think about the kind of data that you can capture from those guests. And after they've captured that information, they increase revenue. It was a 7-figure sum, and I'm sorry that I don't have that figure listed here, but they were able to increase ticket sales by about 5%, and that increased revenue to well over $1 million just using this solution right now. But there's so many other opportunities. I was talking to Philadelphia Phillies about, they were like, well, we can tell guests about the Bark in the Park night where you can bring your dog to the ball game. I can sell tickets for the upcoming July 4th games for, where we have fireworks, or the Star Wars night, or or just let them know about a multi-game or a season ticket package, all ways to engage with their guests that we otherwise were never doing before. So I hope that that'll resonate with you guys, based on the type of business that you might have out there. Retail. There might be 1 or 2 of you guys out there who have retail stores, whether it's a clothing store or whatever the case might be, a quick serve restaurant, you name it. Again, we're trying to increase the visit, the people coming back to our stores. We're trying to increase the spend when people do come in there. We're trying to drive revenue in some way and increase our brand awareness, right? So again, all different things. So many, so much of this is nuanced per customer, but there is really, the goal is to monetize your Wi-Fi, right? So here's Michael Kors, where they had, I forget how many locations we had. I think it was 400 and some odd locations across the world. They're a little bit unique with their use case, right? So a lot of times, with high-end retailers like a Michael Kors, you have clerks and store managers who are it's almost like a travel manager. They travel knowledge, right? Like they knew their guests by name. They would know that Ryan, Blair, and Sonia come into the store to purchase these type of items. But imagine if Ryan or Sonia left the organization, or went from Michael Kors to Nordstrom, and now all the language about the guests that are coming in there week after week, month over month to buy these certain things, all that information left with them. So one of the goals of Michael Kors was really to create the proper marketing campaign and signage to have guests sign into their Wi-Fi. So now that they're capturing that data right into their Salesforce, right into their CRM. That was a really big goal of them. Of course, they wanted to increase revenue. Right, so they were able to capture about 82,000 subscribers in their first month, which was about I think a 3 point. So it's about a 4% subscriber. 4% of customers afterwards were purchasing items from the store based on those who had signed in. So 4% increase of sales brought in 947,000 pounds. Sorry, this was an English example here, but over $1 million in revenue based on just that limited number of customers, converting to making a purchase that otherwise weren't, right? So that's again a great example of maybe your customer, where all you know about your customer is that, okay, they bought this item, they bought this widget, they bought this item of clothing, but these number of food items at my store by SKU or by item number within my point of sale system. You don't know anything else about your guests in many cases, right? So this is creating a huge brand awareness for you. It's increasing revenue, and it can be applied to any sort of business that you might have out there within these verticals. Any questions there, guys?
Yeah, I think there was just one about a hotel example. If they had a booking system at their hotel, that's not like maybe the most traditional booking system, is there like the ability for Telesystem to plug in with an API to that system to help tie those guests in the hotel into the sign in or the
Yeah.
or the capture? Okay.
So again, we expose our API so it can be consumed by the customer in any way or the customer's vendor in any way. We can provide some guidance on how it's done, but unless we can't go, we're not going to be able to go into their booking system to do this, right? There's going to have to be a little bit of expertise on the customer's parts to integrate that, but we can definitely do that. It's totally it can totally be connected to almost anything that has its own web-based platform or an open or RESTful API, we call it. So yes, it can be done.
Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Another question. This is from Gwendolyn M, as in Mike.
Mhm.
This is kind of more about a shopping center owner, possibly with a bunch of tenants. Would the shopping center owner be able to maybe purchase the solution and then offer that and make that available to the tenants? Great question.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a great question. So one example for that is right away, you've signed into Wi-Fi for an indoor outdoor mall. You know, you signed in because you're going to be there for a long period of time, or again, cell phone coverage is poor. You signed in, and now it might ask you right away, hit you with a survey. You know, what did you come to the mall for? What are you interested in? Are you interested in, you know, retail of a certain kind? Are you interested in men's clothing, female clothing, whatever the case might be, shoes, purses, I don't know. Or maybe a store by name, right? So after you've actually answered these questions, it can then engage you after the fact or offer you a coupon or some sort of redirect to that tenant's store based on what they've selected, right? Maybe it's just a text message or a email notification. It's like, here's no way Louis Vuitton's going to give you 10% off, but maybe Spencer's Gifts might, or maybe some other store is able to offer you whatever it is, 15% off of something, right? Or buy one, get one half off sale that they already have published in their store. But right away, after you've asked these survey questions of the customer, it's going to direct you right to that store. So you can actually have the tenants, they're already paying a pretty penny for their spot within that retail space within that mall, but you can have them pay an incremental cost to participate in that service, right? And so I don't have a use case of that, but it's definitely one I've thought of over the years or the past year or so. And I think it would be a perfect use case for those venues. It could extend to a restaurant, a retailer, anybody within that space, indoor, outdoor mall. Yep.
And then another question, part B, would that be applicable to maybe a city as well, to be able to provide collaborative, available access to the Wi-Fi analytics and the data and that sort of thing to maybe city-owned properties or tenants within the city?
Absolutely. Our company is based in Toledo, Ohio, if you guys didn't know. So we're based in Toledo, and the Parks and Recreation Department is one of our customers. There's a really frequently visited area in downtown Toledo. I mean, they have like an art museum and you know, a zoo and a lot of other cool things, a ballpark. The Mud Hens are really well loved there. But anyway, they have like this Riverwalk area, which every town probably has a, you know, cool little area, a promenade, you know, an area along the beach or the riverfront, whatever the case might be. Every town has their hook, I hope. But in this case, a lot of people go to the riverfront where they have, you know, picnic pavilions and, you know, outdoor concerts sometimes and things like that. And it was just one of those areas where their cell phone coverage was really poor. So they wanted to create an outdoor Wi-Fi solution for their guests, for the people in the city or people visiting the city, right? And then after they've connected, they can inform the customers about other events that are going on. You know, tell them about those concerts that are upcoming, or here you can reserve this picnic pavilion for your kid's birthday party, all different things that might be happening within the city or within that particular park space. So you can even let them know about parking or whatever the case might be. So yeah, smart cities are certainly an example of where this could be applicable to. So if you guys, any of you are, I know most of you are business owners on this call, but if any of you have friends that are, you know, managing a city or involved in city planning, smart cities are all the rage now, and this is certainly something that could benefit those. So I think this might be my last example here with hotels. So hopefully I've kind of touched on a lot of different businesses that you guys might own, or you can just insert your own business there when you think about these things. But I think I already talked about this earlier when I was showing you like that engagement kind of experience. But Harbor Hotels, what they're looking to do is really just increase direct bookings for their guests, right? They already had to provide Wi-Fi, whether or not they're providing that free or as a service, a cost for that service to guests. That's up to that hotel chain. By the way, we can create a paywall type of experience too, if you really want to, so I can throttle that guest network. Like if you don't have any way of doing that as a guest or doing that as a business owner, like I don't know how to throttle my guest network to 10 meg or 5 meg or 50 meg or something like that. So we can actually do that with this solution too. But anyway, what the hotel brand in this case was really trying to do is just increase the engagement with their guests to have them book directly rather than going through Expedia or Booking.com or Hotels.com and the like, because they lost about a 30% margin from those third-party booking sites. So again, after they've connected, they're capturing the guest's information, their phone number, their email address, they're educating them about the cleaning standards, the safety guidelines, the loyalty program that they might have. So again, they wanted to increase revenue, like all of our customers, right? They wanted to increase the reputation of the venue as well. So I think this was the brand that they started publishing those. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so they started publishing those results right to TripAdvisor, where they had a 218% increase in TripAdvisor ratings over the course or after implementing this. I mean, that's a massive number, depending on the number of guests that signed into this Wi-Fi. If you have a 200% or anything double digits is usually good for most customers when you're increasing X factor, X number, X insert that KPI there, but a 218% increase in TripAdvisor reviews was a massive boon to their exposure of their brand, right? They had a 5% increase of repeat business, so guests booking directly with them as opposed to going to the third-party booking sites. So I know with an average spend of only $55, that really increased revenue a lot to their bottom line, right? A 30% reduction in lost revenue to those OTA bookings, as I mentioned before, but we had a 50% conversion of guests logging into their Wi-Fi, because almost every single guest at a hotel signs into their Wi-Fi. It's just like habit. It's like clockwork. We sign into Wi-Fi because the coverage is poor for our cell phones in those large buildings, and why not monetize it, right? So yeah, every hotel brand out there is doing this in some way. The Marriott's, with their Bonvoy programs, or the Hilton brands, they already have something like this set up. Whether it's homegrown or using another third party, I'm not sure. But almost everybody else out there certainly has the capability to take advantage of this solution. And even a lot of the say the lesser brands, but the Marriott Courtyards of the world, those are franchised, right? The Fairfield Inns of the world, those are franchised. So and most of those franchise owners, which may be some of you guys out there, you own multiples of those. So almost everybody has 2, 3, 4, 5 hotels or more within their area, and they could have multiple different brands, whether it's a Fairfield property or a Marriott Courtyard, you name it, a Days Inn, a Holiday Inn. This is all viable for those businesses, and I'd love to talk to you about it. So hopefully at the end of the day here, I've got the gears turning in your mind about how this product could maybe improve your business in some way, shape, or form, to use that Wi-Fi that you already have in place right now and turn that into a new revenue stream. So before we talk next, if there are other stakeholders in your organization, if you're the marketing person, or if you're the business owner, engage that marketing person. If you have a social media outreach person, get them on the phone with us, and we'll all talk together about how we can improve your guest experience and create revenue using your existing technology. So that was our goal today. Hopefully just capture some interest, and then reach out to Sonia and Ryan. I'm sure there's a plan for this afterwards, but I'd be happy to talk to you further down the road.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Pretty exciting. I'm personally really excited about it, and definitely have some follow-up questions for you. And if you also have follow-up questions for Sean and Ryan, please do reach out to myself or any of the advisors or partners who invited you today. We have a direct relationship with Telesystem, and we'll put you directly in touch with these very smart gentlemen here who can help create a very customized solution for your use case. We have over 500 providers, so we only bring the best of the best to these virtual roundtables, and we're very excited that Telesystem was able to join us today. We do have that drawing, so let me go ahead and pull that out. There were a few questions we didn't get to, but I did put your name in here anyway, so. Gwendolyn M, congratulations, you won yourself a Ember mug, and good job. Well, I'm so excited about this. I think it's super cool, and I love the fact that you're improving the customer experience and allowing a physical site to monetize Wi-Fi, which they were probably going to provide anyway. So it's one of those things that I learned early on in my career is the first thing to do when you're trying to improve your business is look for dormant resources. And a lot of times they don't really cost that much, or they're just sitting around not being used. And if you can use those resources that are just sitting around, you're a lot more creative than whoever was there before because they didn't use that resource. And so I love the idea of taking advantage of a resource that, like, you know, is probably going to be given away for free. Why not use that to capture data, improve the customer experience? And then, and I love this is the first time I've heard adding a paywall. So if you wanted to provide higher quality internet for a particular customer who, say, you know, it's a guest or something and they wanted to have increased bandwidth, I didn't know that was something you can do, but that's a really cool option as well. So excited to see where this goes and how many of our clients are interested. And congratulations again to Gwendolyn. And we will be back in 2 weeks with another exciting virtual roundtable. So please do join us. Ryan, Sean, did you have any final words for our guests today?
I think we're good. Sean did a great job covering that.
Great.
I'll stay here. Thanks, guys. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you joining today.
Great. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you, everybody. And for those who are watching on YouTube, we're excited and thanks for reaching out, and do reach out to us if you have any questions. We'd like to put you in touch with Telesystem directly. Okay, bye-bye.